That's so bad.
88.1 XFM, Tauranga Music Station. Also, another sponsored episode of Mike Time with Marty. Jet's Car Grooming, all the way from Tauranga. If you want your car spec and span, just go to Jet's Car Grooming. I have a very familiar face to the drag scene. You may have seen him on RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. So say hello to the one, the only Minnie Cooper.
Hello. I've had to rebrand myself to Messy Minnie.
Oh, Missy Minnie. Okay, well, fair enough. So I think the big question to start off with is drag. How did you get started?
How did I get started into drag? I've been around drag ever since I moved into the city when I was 19 because my boyfriend used to choreograph the drag shows.
Mhm.
So I've been around drag pretty much for all my 20s.
Yeah.
And it was I used to choreograph for the drag queens, the drag shows.
Hmm.
And I always had a love for drag and wanted to do drag. But at that time, it's not like Drag Race where everyone is cool to do
Hmm.
drag. It was like quite a big thing to do drag, and it's something that I wanted to do. But it was like because I danced in professional musical theatre, to do drag would be considered the arsehole end of the entertainment industry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then had just finished doing a musical, which is of Eastwick in Melbourne, and I was in between jobs.
Hmm.
And a drag queen had gone to Cyprus, and Chelsea Bunn from the House Priscilla was looking for someone to work with. And I had done drag socially,
Yeah.
and I thought, well, I'm in between jobs. Why not earn a bit of extra money? And 20 years later, I'm still in between jobs.
Love it. So, what would be one of your highlights from being on Drag Race?
Oh, what was my highlight on Drag Race? I've got two
Okay.
actually. The sausage challenge with Rue, doing the photo shoot with Rue.
Yeah.
A lot of interactions with Rue that didn't make it to camera that I really had fun with that didn't make it, and also doing the roast challenge with Queen Kong.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. So,
Mm.
as part of my job, I do have to stalk the people that are on my show. Sorry. So it,
Oh, I've been stalked before. I just blocked them.
well, please don't block me. This is my job.
And blocking's mine. No, I'm joking.
Oh, so I see that you were the Green Dodo for a Sesame Street type
Oh,
thing.
that was yeah. That was my first job out of high school. I'd worked doing suit work casually,
Hmm.
where when I was at high school, I used to do like Yogi Bear and Scooby Doo and all that kind of stuff. And then I was auditioned for Sesame Street Live, which was a production that was going around. Actually, went to New Zealand as well. Actually, went to the glowworm caves, did all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
the whitewater rafters. And yeah, that was my first professional job out of high school.
Wow. As soon as I saw Big Bird, the inner child in me just wanted to squeal.
Ah, well, you know what? Doing Sesame Street is not unlike doing drag. It's still putting on a big costume.
Exactly. It's still putting on a big costume looking fabulous.
Yeah, totally.
All right. Well, Minnie, we have some games that we like to do on my show. Are you ready to play the first one?
Well, what sort of games are they? I'm not very
Okay.
good at games.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your quick thinking?
It depends on the day, actually.
Okay. So what about today? How
Sometimes
would you
I'm
rate it?
super quick. Oh, I don't know how quick I'm going to be today because I'm a bit tired. And when you're a bit tired, my wit's not as quick.
Okay, no worries. Well, we're going to put that to the test. I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions and you have to answer them as quickly as you possibly can.
Okay,
All
go.
right. Coke or Sprite?
Coke.
All right. Sunset or sunrise?
Sunset.
All right. Weekdays or weekends?
Weekends.
All right. How do you have your coffee?
White with 2 sugars.
All right. Awesome. If you could pick one place in the world to go visit, where would you go?
New York.
Love it. All right. What is it about New York that makes you want to go there so bad?
I just love the energy of the city because I love my Broadway and my musical theatre. There's a real vibe to it, but I also, having just gone to LA, I really enjoy doing drag there. Actually, I really did enjoy that.
All right. Amazing. DC or Marvel?
Oh, neither.
Okay.
Actually,
Pineapple.
Big
Hmm?
C because I love Superman.
Love it. All right. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Love it. All right. If you could pick three drag queens to do a show with you, who would they be?
Oh that's an interesting question, actually. I would love to work with Tammy Brown. I think that would be a hoot. And these are all people that I've not worked with, actually. I'd love to work with Tammy Brown. I would love to, who else would I would love to work with Morgan McMichaels, because I've met her overseas and I think we're very similar. So she's someone I'd like to work with in that sort of capacity. And Lady Bunny, actually.
Lady Bunny, love it. Okay. Favorite color?
Favorite color, I would say it is, that's a tricky one. I would say blue.
Blue. Okay.
Love
Celebrity.
pink as well.
Blue, pink. Celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush. Oh, at the moment it is Harry Styles.
Oh, we gotta love Harry Styles. We gotta love.
There's something so sexy about him. I just love it.
All right. Favorite type of music.
Favorite type of music, I like all kinds of music. The only thing I really don't like is really deep house.
Okay, fair enough. If you could pick one movie to watch for the rest of your life, what movie would that be?
Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, the classics. Love it.
It's such a great film. Like, it just, I don't know, there's one moment in that movie I cry every moment. It's the moment when you know how they're all doing the work on the roof and he does the taxes for the guards.
Yep.
And he doesn't take the beer and he just sits there and watches them.
Yep.
While he does it. Oh, that's like one of my favorite moments in the film. It's like I get teary watching it.
All right, and final question, which happens to be the most difficult question according to some of the guests that have been on my show. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Still doing drag.
Love it. Love it. All right.
But in what capacity, I don't know. It's so funny with life. Because working in entertainment, your life is always full of ebbs and flows. And I've had a really amazing 20 years of drag, but I do feel like there's a transition, and what that is yet, I don't quite know. Okay. But time will tell.
Well, Minnie, I am going to put you on the spot here. You get to ask me some quick fire questions, and you can be as difficult as you want.
Okay. What do you think of Pomara Fifth?
Oh, sorry, can you repeat
that? Did you watch Drag Race Down Under? I was being shady.
No. Honestly, I think anyone that does drag is absolutely gorgeous, and I admire them wholeheartedly.
Do you think drag is a crime?
No.
No. Do you think drag queens groom children?
No.
No. What's the best thing you like about drag?
It is pretty much self-exploring yourself, and it is showing that people are people, no matter what they wear, no matter what gender they are, and it's just funny. And the makeup and the dresses, I'm jealous.
And if you had one magic power, what would it be?
To go back in time.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You wouldn't want to have a power to change world hunger?
I mean, I could do that when I travel back in time. The main thing for that was to like go see family that have passed on, and also to like kind of change things a little bit in my life. But I mean, if I change things, I wouldn't be here. So,
well, do you know what I always think about the past? Your past is your journey to where you are right now, and if you change the past, you might not be the place you are right now.
Exactly.
With the highs and lows of life, there's a reason for why they happen, because it takes you on a journey to get, hopefully, to where you're meant to be.
All right. Do you got any more questions?
How could I? No. If you were to go on RuPaul's Drag Race, what would be your Snatch game?
Ooh. I'm a big Jim Carrey fan. Jim Carrey is one of the main reasons that I got into doing comedy and voice impressions. So I would have to either go with Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Yeah.
Or my wifey hates this one. Donald Trump. Just to like take the ultimate piss out of him.
Oh. Well, he's a really good one to do. I find characters are not what I do. It's not in my wheelhouse. Like, I find that's really difficult for me because I don't impersonate people.
Yeah.
I can be funny, I can do comedy, but impersonating people, I've realised, is not what I do.
All right. Yeah, two more.
Oh, two more.
Yeah.
If you were to change anything about the world, what would it be?
Discrimination against the LGBTQ.
Yeah, that's a good one. And one last question. Would you prefer to have all the money in the world or happiness?
Happiness.
Yeah, good answer.
Yeah, happiness. Why not? So, with us messaging on Instagram, I did mention that I am a drag queen in the making. What advice would you give to me, to someone that's wanting to get into doing drag?
It's getting into drag is about creating relationships with other drag queens if you want to work. That's how, and you've got to go out and be seen, you know, because you're not, if you're in, so many times I've employed someone because they've been in my site, and then sometimes I've missed someone because they're not in my site. I just don't think of them. I go, oh, why didn't I think of them? You know, you really have to be out there and to be seen.
Yeah.
I would say always turn up on time. What else? It's a real tricky thing because it's all based on relationships, drag, like in how you connect with people and being, you know what, just being in the right place at the right time. My drag career, I got offered to do a job just because I was someone, and I hadn't even been doing drag that long. I looked like a bastard. And some drag queens do drag for years and years and years before they work. But you don't always have to be a performing drag queen. Like, your drag can be so many different. Like, you can be a comedian and drag. You don't necessarily have to dance. The amount of times I hear drag queens go, "I can't do drag because I don't dance." Oh no, there's many ways to do drag and performing drag.
Okay, exactly. So we have something in common. So I'm doing drag school here in Palmerston North. You met one of the people that is basically running it at Palmy Drag Fest, RuPaul Rouge.
Oh, I know, so fabulous.
Yeah. So what was it like meeting RuPaul for the first time?
Was that the place I was in?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Doing that at the Palmy Fest, I loved it. It was amazing. The vibe, just there's nothing better than being in a room. And I've been lucky enough to do it several times where that's people just celebrating that love of drag. Like, there's nothing like it. Like, it's really extraordinary. One of the most amazing things I ever did. You know how I did Australia's Got Talent, and I didn't get through to the grand final. And the number I actually had to prepare my grand final number, which was Singing in the Rain.
Yeah.
And I never got the costumes or anything. 2 years later, I drove past the lady that I'd known had made the costumes, and I just went in to see if she had them.
Yeah.
So she still had them. I ended up buying them off her. And then I wanted to do a flash mob, and then Trevor Ashley was doing the Marty Gala at the Sydney Opera House, and I performed Singing in the Rain at the Sydney Opera House, and it was one of the most magical experiences of my life. Like, it was actually the day Stanley Donen died, who actually directed Singing in the Rain. Like, there was all this synergy around it.
Yeah.
And people, after the way they interacted with me, I've never had that interaction with people. It was like they saw magic. Like, you know, it truly was magic.
Love it. Okay, so again, stalking. What is your relationship with the Logies?
The who?
The Logies, the award ceremony.
Oh, the Logies.
Yes.
Was that who are they? No, the Logies. My relationship with the Logies, Queen Kong, who I did Drag Race with, was nominated for a Logie, and I am a big supporter of supporting my sisters, especially someone like Queen, who does so much for the community. And Queen is an incredible human, like, so generous with her time, his time. And what I love about Queen is always they're willing to lift people up, because there is not many queens like that. Most queens are just purely out for themselves. And is that a bad thing? No, I don't think it is. But it's so nice when a queen is like that. And I love supporting Queen, just like I would love to be supported by someone.
Amazing, amazing.
So that was
So
my
when
relation.
so when you were on Drag Race, you were the amazing age of 50. Did that have any change, or was it just I'm doing what I love with the people I love?
Do you know what's really funny? Like me coming into Drag Race as a 50-year-old and having my resume, and I, honest to God, went in there and I did not go in with a competition mindset, which is when now in retrospect was really silly. I was just turning up to do drag almost like a job, and whoever did the best did the best. But that had my, how do I say this? People who say I talk like this and they say I'm delusional, but my career has gravitas, like it just does. How can you not? Like I can't help that I've had this career, and no one really else. People are successful. Queen is successful. Hannah's successful. Spanky's successful. But I'm 50 years old. I've done all this stuff from musical theatre. I just have all this, and that it was pretty threatening to some of the younger people, and that's where I believe a lot of the conflict came from, and they were making TV, but it worked out. It didn't manifest very well for me and my mental health.
Fair enough. Do you
And
remember?
it's a competition. People are competing, and how you compete. That's part of it. And I wasn't ready for that.
Exactly. Do you remember the first line that you did as soon as you walked through that big door?
Oh yeah, Minnie on the outside. Once you get inside me, I go real fast.
How did you come up with that amazing line?
Oh, I've said that. That's a line I've said for a very long time. I even said it on Australia's Got Talent. Something I'll always say about myself.
Yeah.
And that's something that this is quite an interesting thing, is because I walked into that workroom and I was so comfortable with talking in making TV, that really threw some of the other contestants. It really threw them. Because I'm just so comfortable chatting and going. And that just comes from my 50 years of experience.
Yeah. So, I saw a video that you had an encounter with Rue, and you guys were doing the whole that.
Rue loved it.
Yeah.
And that was really it was really we were doing the walkthrough for the Snatch game.
Yeah.
And my walkthrough was the best on the day. Who would have known I would have been so bad at the Snatch game after that? It was so weird. It was it went from, I was doing all the things that I was asked, but then I really felt like I was being blocked. It really felt like, no one's going to laugh at anything I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And we're what can you do?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I was, I definitely wasn't great, but I don't think I was as bad as they made out.
Oh no, you were amazing. I loved so much watching your Snatch game.
It's all objective, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Next game is I'm going to list off some amazing queens, and you just have to say one word about them.
Okay, go.
All right. Let's go with Miss Vanjie Mateo.
Oh, hysterical.
Hysterical. All right. Trixie Mattel.
Oh, Kook.
Kook. All right. Queen Kong.
Queen Kong. Legend.
All right. The infamous Mother Rue.
Oh, I just legend. No, actually, inspiration.
Inspiration. Love it. All right. Michelle Visage.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. All right. Silky Nutmeg Ganache.
Oh, how would I describe her? Oh, you've got to think of the right word.
Yeah.
Unapologetic.
Love it. All right. Evie Oddly.
Creative genius. That's 2 words.
All right. Bianca Del Rio.
Cunt. In the best possible way.
Love it. All right, and final one, Miss Rhubarb Rouge.
Mesmerizing.
Mesmerizing. Love it. I'll make sure to let her know that. All right. So what would be your top 3 acts to do? So if you could only do 3 more acts before you like retire or something like that, what would be your last 3 infamous acts that you would do?
That's a really interesting question. I would love to do a play. I almost got the opportunity to do that, but actually I got cast in a play just before Drag Race. Oh, here's a bit of interesting, which might give you a bit of context to the dyslexia thing and why I said it so much. Yeah, and I did say it a lot. I get it.
Yeah.
But just prior to getting on, I got 2 of the most incredible things that had ever happened to me. I got this play, and it was called Queen Lear, and it was a twist on King Lear, and I was Queen Lear, and it was using Shakespeare and English. And I learned the Storm monologue, which is on my Instagram, and I learned it by orally. Like that's how I learned the monologue, and they loved it, right? Then on the very, very first day of the rehearsal, the director had given me a script that I'd never seen, and I need to read through things a couple of times just to because it's a lot for with someone with a reading disability. Oh, I can't say disability. It's like so tricky. That was so polarizing, but I can't. And my reaction to Pamara was not great. I do agree with that as well. And it was embarrassing for me to read in front of all these people who I'd never met. And I told him that I'm dyslexic and I can't do that. And he said, no, you've got to do it. It'll look odd. And I just did it without going, no, I should have set a boundary. I was like, no, I can't do that. And I have been put in that situation many times before where I was hosting and I was doing an event and awards night and all the names were Asian. And I said, you need to send them to me prior. So I would listen to it on the phone and learn them, learn them. And they gave it to me. As I said, I can go out there and do that, but it's going to be embarrassing. I said, can Charisma do it, who was co-host? And they said, no, it's got to be you. I said, I'll do it, but it's going to be really bad. But it's funny how people, and that's why on Drag Race I was saying a lot, is because people don't actually listen when you say it because they don't understand. And it's not like I've learned how to deal with it, but you need there's a certain way, there's certain steps I need to do. And with the Pamara thing, it actually wasn't even that she laughed. It was interrupting while I was being vulnerable and didn't get to share that story. That's actually what and then I actually I actually broke down after that because I was like, it was probably a bit of shame in my reaction to her. And then no one cared. It's like no one cared. I walked out and no one said, are you okay? No one cared. That's a real tricky thing. That's why I was so psychotic on the show.
Oh wow. So I'm pretty much the same. I do have dyslexia as well, and I just finished doing Hamilton. And learning, especially my shot, with it being so quick, my mind was like, what the fuck is all this?
Yeah, but do you find you learn it like pictures? You got to like associate almost like with the words like pictures. You've read them, and then you get to a word and you don't recognize it because it's like not a picture in your brain.
Yeah.
And you can't feel it phonetically, like you can't even pronounce it out. It's like so weird.
Yeah. Like with me, it's I have to have the song playing as I'm reading it. So
yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, and I slow it down to like 1.2. So it's like like ultra slow-mo so I can hear all the syllables and hear how they're pronouncing it so I know how to get it right. And now literally I would be sitting there laying down and just go, I'm gonna get a scholarship to King's College.
I know it's weird. Like it was like me learning a Shakespeare monologue. Like it was like you would not know. Like I would even because I've acted before, like and done training in acting, but I've never really had a huge part. But this, I did a Skype interview with the creatives, and they liked what I had to say, so they asked me to learn this, and I learned it in 3 days. Like I learned a Shakespeare model off script in 3 days. But I really did the work. I did all the research and finding out how Shakespeare works. Like I'm really impressed with what I did for someone that's never done Shakespeare. Like but the story I had going on in my mind, I don't know if you know the story of King Lear. It's his youngest daughter who was kind to him, but he turns on her, and it's the two older sisters that he sort of favors, but in the end they turn on him, and it's the younger daughter. So I did the whole storm and the monologue, and the storm is the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did that. That was my whole thing, and that I'd taken all these drugs, and
Yeah.
and I think it actually comes when you watch it. I think you can tell watching it, and that's the amazing thing about Shakespeare. I've discovered is once you create the narrative and the story of Shakespeare, it actually flows out. Really, it's actually not that hard.
No.
Which is really weird to say.
Yeah, like the funny thing about Hamilton is like it's pretty much American politics turned hip hop.
Yeah, got it.
And
If you
like,
understand that, you should be fine.
yeah, and I mean like with someone like from my generation, like hip hop is full stop like the main type of music that we would listen to when we're on our way to high school or something like that. Not me. I would sit there listening to country music. Like Luke Bryan, Rascal Flatts, that's my jam.
You probably need. There's a new musical. I think it's called Shucked, which is about corn.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your kind of show.
Love it. Okay, so what is next for the infamous Missy Minnie?
I have no idea, to be honest. Like, I really don't. I have these ideas. I've got two ideas that I want to do, but I just, it's so funny because one is a play I want to write, but people could go to say they'll help me, and then I go to push it, and then they don't come through, and it's like with it. Yeah, I just can't seem to find the people that I need to get this project off the ground. I've got two projects in my head. One's a really fabulous idea, and I think it will happen eventually, but it's all about timing in the right place. And it's really tricky, especially when you try to do things for yourself. Like, it's like really hard. Like putting on my one-woman show was one of the hardest things I ever did.
Jesus, I'm trying to sort out a tour because I do stand-up comedy on the side, and like I've got a couple of shows in my hometown and stuff like that, but I'm wanting to like expand, and it's just needing to know the people, have the funds for it, and just whether to give a fuck or not.
Well, it's so weird. Like I wanted to go to Brisbane just recently and go to the Wickham Hotel, and I set up all the ticket price and everything. And I had a lot of traffic to the website, but nobody bought tickets, so I had to cancel. So it's like it's so weird. It's like people were into. Must have been too expensive because obviously there was interest because you don't look at a website unless you want to go.
Exactly. All right. Well, Missy, Minnie, I'm going to give you the floor. Instagram, TikTok, everything. Let the people know what's going on.
Well, my Instagram's the Minnie Cooper. I don't know what my TikTok is. What is my TikTok?
I think it might be the same.
Yeah, it might be actually. Yeah, it is. And my Twitter must be the same. Oh, X, I should say.
Oh.
What do I have to say for the end of the interview? No matter if you make mistakes in life, you can always correct them. You take responsibility for your mistakes. We've all got faults.
100%. All right, last question, Minnie. If you could pick someone to be in your shoes on my show, who would they be?
Who would they be? Who would be great to be on your show? Does it need to be a drag person, or do you want something different?
It can be absolutely anyone.
Oh, you know who you should have on your show? It's Coco Bloody Jumbo.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would
Coco's
be.
fabulous. I love Coco so much.
Yes. Well, actually, this is history for the Mike Time with Marty talk show. You are actually our first drag queen to be on my show. So thank you so much for taking the time and talking.
I say yes to anything.
Oh, me too, literally, me too. But thank you so much for taking your time and talking to this little Kiwi boy who's trying to get big in this world. And if there's anything that you need help with, you've got me on Instagram. So
I appreciate that.
all right,
Maybe I'll need a joke.
Ooh.
apart from my life being one.
Yeah, I was gonna say my career maybe. All right, thank you so much, Minnie.
Take care. Have a good day.
You too.